Well, all
Alright, welcome back to the Should Be Paul Molino here, the World Famous Massachusetts Studio. Oh, yeah. Crystal Durant.
Oh, yeah.
The World Famous Massachusetts Stores.
Yeah.
All right.
Tommy Von Boy.
Hey, how's it going out there?
All right. And, well, here we are, stuck in 2012.
Yep. The year of the apocalypse.
Yes, yeah. Well, we may as well make the best of it. Well, while we're here, we may as well discuss our favorite albums of this year, right? 2012.
Yep. Before the Mayan calendar comes to an end. Let's get our album lists in.
The Mayan calendar.
God, do you guys not remember the Mayan calendar?
Yeah.
Now I remember.
Yep.
But see, the
forgotten.
problem with that whole thing, it was just so obviously fake, because if anybody who was paying attention knew the world long since had already come to an end.
Oh,
And,
clearly.
yeah.
We've been
Come
living
on.
in the end times for
It was
quite some
clearly
time.
over. REM sang about it when? At the end of the world, as we know it.
Yeah,
and I feel fine.
1980.
See?
Yeah, 84.
84?
84.
80 something.
7, right? 87?
4.
It's
3, 4.
No. I'm talking about when that song came out.
Oh,
Not
no,
when the world ended for you.
Yeah, okay.
Obviously, the world ended in 91, Dick. Anyway.
84. But, yeah.
91.
Well, why don't you tell us all about this post-apocalyptic year of 2012?
Okay. Well, you're going to hear it fresh from the mouth of this post-apocalyptic wasteland mutant.
Tell us about it, Toxie. I win. Weren't expecting that, were you?
And that concludes the episode today. Hey,
All right, good night,
tune in next
everybody.
week for 2013.
2013.
Oh my God! And just cut to that the hold screen on the TV that just plays the national anthem. Just
A flag.
Yeah. Oh God! Well, I'll tell you what. Surprise! Much to all of your surprise, I'm sure, and
Yeah.
much to my own surprise, I have 8 albums.
Why?
I don't have
Okay,
any.
you know what? This definitely is post. This is not Tommy. This
It's
is
not Tommy.
Where the fuck is Tommy?
Who is you?
I'm a mutoid.
Are you the walrus? Cuckoo
Cuckoo. No, I'm the ape man.
Oh.
Yes. It's easy to confuse the two.
Are you the Kinks ape man or the?
the
other one?
Beatles ape man?
Oh, okay.
Yes. But I am not the Ramones ape man.
Because there are several
No.
ape men.
Well, actually, that's wrong, because I wouldn't say anything about the remote.
And you know what I'm talking about.
But I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh boy, do I do.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So,
All right.
my number 8. I don't have any honorable mentions. I don't even have any mere mentions. I'm just going to get right to the meat and potatoes. So, my number 8 is Neon Trees with Picture Show.
I remember the name
Blank
of the
stare.
band.
Okay.
It's Neon Trees.
All right. Well, that's fine. Okay. I could just move this
Keep going.
party right along.
Well,
no problem.
tell us what these jokers
What's the
sound
big
like.
deal?
I
Yeah.
mean, they're just a pop rock group.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to get into details. I'm not gonna ask you what your favorite song is on the record or anything. Just
No,
Pop rock.
No, it's a fun record. It's a
Yeah,
fun
okay,
record.
all right.
Yeah. Okay, so my number 7, Dragon Force with the Power Within.
They're back.
Dragon Force is quickly starting to turn into my Red Cross or Sloan on these lists.
They are your Red Cross.
This is some Tommy Core. And you know the funny thing is, I kind of like I like Dragon Force just okay. You know.
well, then they're not your
It's
red.
kind of no, they're really not. I like them okay. Like it's like I think it's great that they're out there doing it. They're a lot of fun. They're a good time. If you just want some power metal, just throw on a Dragon Force record. Doesn't matter which one. They're all the same album. But it's a fun album they keep making over and over. again.
Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Now, now I'll say this. My number 6 and my number 5 entries are both by the same band. And you would think that I would just make this a tie. But I can't. Put that tie down, sir. Put that down. Careful with that tie.
Put that away.
Careful with that tie, Eugene.
Yes. So I have Air Raid. They're a band from Sweden. And I've got Night of the Axe, their full-length album from 2012 at number 6. But what I actually like even better was their EP they put out, Danger Ahead. And I'm putting that ahead at number 5.
When it's Night of the Axe, is it Night of the Axe or Night of the Axe?
Or is it the
both.
body spray?
No, it's absolutely not that. It's the ones Crystal said. She
Oh,
gets
yeah.
it. You do not,
See,
sir.
I would have liked him a lot more if it had been about the body.
You win the prize. You get goose egg.
I get a lifetime supply of Axe body spray.
which is goose egg.
Which is goose egg.
And Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco
Oh
treat.
my god! Yeah, they're a fun heavy metal band from Scandinavia, and they do their sound is like kind of like a new wave of British heavy metal on like steroids kind of thing. You
Something just happened.
Uh-oh.
This is going to be a stop. My audio.
That was weird.
Wow. GarageBand itself is just protesting 2012.
Sorry, technical difficulties there, but we're back and with improved sound. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get to the top 4 then for my list.
Okay.
I hope this doesn't just, mutiny on me again. My number 4, The Darkness with Hotcakes, their comeback album.
Okay.
Yes.
They've been gone for a while.
They've been gone for a while. They completely just fell apart after One Way Ticket to Hell and Back because of drugs and egos and all this bullshit.
The usual.
And then the other guys in the band took the guy who was the roadie and then replaced Frankie Poulain on bass. They decided, okay, we'll put a band together with you and you'll be the singer. And then Justin Hawkins went and did his British Whale solo album or solo release, and then he did Hot Leg, and no one ever gave a shit about any of that. They didn't give a shit about Hot Leg, they didn't give a shit about Stone Gods, and finally the two brothers, Justin and Dan, started talking again, and they're like, let's do The Darkness again. So they got the original bass player back, and they put out Hotcakes, and it's actually a really decently strong record that I didn't give a fair shake to when it came out because it wasn't Permission to Land.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm holding everything up to the standards of their first album. And in hindsight, I was like, this actually is a pretty strong comeback record. And after that, the original drummer left again, and they've had a couple different drummers since then. But this is a fun album, Hotcakes. Hotcakes.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
And speaking of Justin Hawkins from The Darkness, this next album, my number 3, he produced this album for this next band.
Oh, shit.
And that would be The Church of Rock and Roll by Foxy Shazam.
Oh, yes, we've discussed this before.
Foxy Shazam.
Yes, Foxy Shazam. So he knew those guys. They had done some touring with The Darkness when they were doing their comeback stuff, and he offered to produce this album, and it's fantastic. This, to me, is the defining Foxy Shazam record. Start here, and I mean, shit, you can end here, and you'd be all right. This is the record to get, and it's fantastic.
Okay.
My number 2, Bruno Mars with Unorthodox Jukebox. This dude, I'm sorry, he can do no wrong.
Well, yeah, he crushes all the time.
He is just fantastic.
Yeah. No, I love Bruno Mars, but he can do some wrong as far as I'm concerned. But he's not across the board. But there are records of his I really like.
I'm grading on a bit of a curve.
Well, do no wrong. That's not a curve.
Well, okay, you know what? Compared to what he's competing with,
Yeah. Well.
this guy could do no fucking wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Fair.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
I don't know.
All right. I'll tell you what.
Did he do a Christmas album with Scott Weiland this year?
Yeah.
He did not actually.
Okay. Well. Okay. That's one wrong he didn't do.
He did not. So bullet dodged. But if somehow me complimenting Bruno Mars was a bit of a controversial hot take,
No.
I cannot wait
No.
to tell you what my number 1 album is for 2012. I cannot wait.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not a
wait.
controversial hot take because I like Bruno Mars.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Well, if you like Bruno Mars, you are going to love my number 1.
Probably not.
You are going to absolutely love it. You might want to put those glasses on and take them right back off again.
My glasses probably want to stay out of this.
Okay, now, I absolutely love this next album so goddamn much. And this kind of it kind of snuck up and bit me. I was like, I didn't realize I was so into this album. And I knew a couple of the pop singles from it. And I listened to it again. Actually, I listened to it like the first time ever a couple years ago. And I found myself enjoying the damn thing from start to finish, like a lot. So I kept going back to it. And I'm like, I can't possibly be into this person. And I'm like, I fucking love this album. So I checked out this artist's first album. Didn't do anything for me. I checked out all the stuff that this artist put out after this album. Did absolutely nothing for me. I don't know where the hell this record came from, but god damn does it kick ass. And that is Pink Friday Roman Reloaded by Nicki Minaj. Uh-huh.
Can you do me a favor, Paul? When you edit this, put a big question mark over my head.
You've heard of Nicki Minaj.
Of course, I know this
Nicki
record.
Minaj.
Yeah, I know her.
And unfortunately, we've heard.
I know this
Nicki
record. Wow, okay.
I love this album.
I was not expecting
I
this.
know you weren't expecting it.
Paul, zoom in on my face right here where I'm like...
This album is fucking awesome. This is so good. And I checked out the rest of her entire catalog, hoping there were other examples of this kind of work, and there just aren't. And I think what happened here is she paired up with the right producers, and the concept was we're going to do a record. It's basically a double album, and the first half of it is the hip-hop half, and the second half is all like pop and dance pop stuff, and where she's actually doing a lot of real singing and all that stuff. And she wanted to show her artistic range, and what happened is she was no longer being taken serious as a real MC because of this album.
Right.
Because of the singles, the singles that were like the big pop singles, they were fucking enormous, and everyone's like, okay, so she's a pop singer.
The hip hop heads did not like it.
Which is ridiculous because she's actually legitimately talented. She's a serious, actual, legit MC.
What's so weird about that is that, like I've said before, hip hop people listen to everything.
I know, I understand that.
They listen to every fucking thing.
I understand that. So the fact that she got that kind of backlash for this and was getting dismissed is weird.
Yeah, no, I guess I should qualify that. Really, I think hip-hop artists listen to fucking everything. A lot of hip-hop...
the fans, maybe not.
A lot of hip-hop fans don't necessarily.
They don't.
Yeah. Well, I know that she's very respected by her peers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it was the thing with the fans. So everything that she's done since then, I believe what's been happening here, she's like, I'm not going to do that again. I want people to know that I'm serious and I want artistic credibility and yada, 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 yada. And unfortunately, the formula has not been the same ever since. And the formula on this record, god damn did it work. I wish that she'd have done another one. I really do.
Lightning in a bottle.
She really caught lightning in a bottle. I know that you would not like this. This album is not for
me.
This is not for you, but I am there for this album, and it's the only example of it. Unfortunately, it's nothing else she's ever done has been the same.
You made your
I'm
fucking number one.
shocked. How did you hear about this record?
Well, I knew the big hit singles off of it.
Oh, okay.
And so when COVID first hit, and me and Melissa were both working at home at that point, we would do this thing that we still do where we trade back and forth playing albums. And it got to the point where we'd all, played all the shit that we knew, like, how many times am I going to go through all the Led Zeppelin albums? And we started just putting on random shit because it's like, well, we got to put on something. Yeah. So we'd be like, okay, I remember this song or two that I thought was catchy. What the hell does that album sound like? And we would start doing that shit. And at one point I put on this Nicki Minaj album thinking, well, this is going to be nonsense. And I found myself really liking the whole thing. And I was like, and halfway through, I'm like, fuck, I like this album. This is weird. And she's like, it's if you like the music, because you like the music.
But I shouldn't.
But I'm not supposed to.
And then like a month later, I was like, I want to hear that Nicki Minaj album again. So I put it on, and I'm like, I'm just singing along. And then like a week goes by, and I'm like, I want to play that Nicki Minaj album again.
You're like, okay, you look
like,
online, any Nicki Minaj t-shirts for sale?
And I'm like, fuck, I really like this Nicki Minaj album a lot. And then at that point, I was like, I got to check out the rest of her work. There's got to be more examples of this. Came up dry. So, yeah.
What I want to have happen is for her to come through here on tour, and you go to that show with a Nicki Minaj t-shirt on. That's what I want.
I don't think that's going to happen.
And I want to follow you with a GoPro and get the reactions, and then you like singing along, and then she pulls you up on stage and you're jamming with her. That's what I want to have happen.
Well, you have to wait maybe a couple decades when she does the tour where she does this album in its entirety.
Yeah, because right now she's not hitting this record.
No.
Yeah. But eventually she'll do the tour where she does just this album in its entirety. And
that's the one I'm going to go to.
Yeah.
Tommy,
this record start to finish.
Nikki, please do that before I die.
Yeah. Please. Yeah, see, Nick, if you really want Tommy at one of your shows, you know what you got to do.
Roman Reloaded, Pink Friday,
years,
start to finish.
Yeah.
No other material. Literally not a single other song. Just this album. Anyway, moving on.
All right, well, that is Tommy's list. And this is some ads for you to watch.
New cover girl, new rules. Introducing volume without fear of clumps. New CoverGirl Clump Crusher. Big green brush, curved to crush. Load on the volume and the curve hugs your lashes tight, destroying every clump in its way. 200% more volume, 0 clumps. So be fearless and crush those clumps. New Clump Crusher from easy, breezy, beautiful CoverGirl. Take the challenge.
Won't tell you nothing because I don't understand. Yeah. Ain't got nothing. All right, Crystal.
Gonna hold your hand and let me hold your hand. Sorry. All right, it's 2012.
Beatles break.
And that's my Beatles break to make this
It's a cleanse.
More palatable.
better, 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 better.
Okay.
I love you guys.
We love you too,
It's the
Crystal.
best. I can't do this with a lot of people.
This show is about togetherness.
Oh my god.
Well, you know what? If the people you're hanging out with are people who can't fall right in with "Hey Jude," you're hanging out with the wrong people.
For real.
No. I hang out with plenty of people who can do it, but it's very different dynamic with you two. All right, so it's 2012, and I have to start off by saying, as a qualifier, this is my Crystal clarification. So I was teaching full-time then at this horrible school that I just wanted to kill myself every day.
That was the one that was around the corner from my apartment, right?
Yes, in Clinton Hill. It was a nightmare. And there were certain acts that were becoming very popular, and a lot of my friends, I can't believe you're not listening to this, you should love this, all that poke stuff that I can't stand. So I'm just going to say, I just do not get Kendrick Lamar, Odd Future, or Frank Ocean. All right? I said it.
I'm with you on that.
I don't get it.
I don't
I've
understand the
listened
hype.
to all of their music. I'm not saying that it's bad, but it doesn't work for me. I don't know why, but that's what I'm saying. So don't ask me about that shit anymore. All right, I have no runners-up. I have no mentions, honorable mentions, nothing. Are you going to fall, Tommy? Be careful.
If I want to.
Yeah, Tommy does what he wants.
He does what he wants, I'm sorry.
Remember? You guys
Catchphrase.
may have forgotten.
Yeah. So I
You
only
haven't
have...
done what you want in quite a while. So.
That's true. So I only have 4 albums on this list.
You are
Okay,
nothing
well.
if not consistent.
You have fallen into the 4-album rut.
I
Yes,
have.
I've been there many an episode.
It's the night in the ruts.
Yes,
The
it
4
really
album
is.
Ruts.
The night in the 4-album
Night in
ruts.
the 4 album ruts. So coming in at number 4, I have rap music, R.A.P. music by Killer Mike. Killer Mike is a dope MC, as the kids say, and he is well respected in the hip hop world for dropping a lot of science on you knuckers. That's what I have to say about it. Listen to the record, it's really good. Then number 3, I have Unorthodox Jukebox by Bruno Mars.
Oh, girl.
Who, compared to all the other shit, scroll back to Tommy's segment, can't really do much wrong. That kid, he is like a different, newfangled version of Pharrell Williams, because he's an instrumentalist, and he sings, and he writes, and he's the all-around impresario type dude.
He's way better than Pharrell Williams.
Well,
way better than Pharrell Williams.
okay.
I know where
In
you're
my- in
going
my
with that,
opinion,
though.
in my opinion.
I know
Yeah,
where
and
you're going with
it's
that.
apples and oranges music-wise for the two of them, which I
Sure.
know why you're saying that, but Pharrell Williams is no fucking joke.
Yo, no, Pharrell Williams doesn't
'Cause
suffer
it's
anything.
not just
but,
shit. His
But
stuff.
Bruno
if I'm
Mars,
ranking
though.
the artists,
Yeah,
Bruno
yeah.
Mars.
I mean, Bruno Mars, what's the thing he just did with the...
Silk Sonic.
Sonic?
Woo!
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll be hearing about that.
Oh,
in the
yes,
future
we
episode.
will.
Yeah.
Yes, we will.
God damn. But anyway, so, I got Bruno Mars there. Number 2, I have Home Again by Michael Kiwanuka.
The debut.
The debut of
debut
Michael Kiwanuka. So I have Paul to thank for this, because it was his second album, right?
that I
That you
I
turned me
think
on
that
to.
was his third album.
Oh, third album. Okay.
Well, I want to cut in while we're giving kudos. I told Crystal about it, but my friend John Meeks, shout out to John Meeks. He watches these videos.
Thank you,
I
John Meeks.
always forget to shout him out. There's so many times I've talked about albums in the 80s where I could have talked about going to Eucalyptus Records where he worked and it's all things leave my mind when we do this. John Meeks, huge shout out. He is the one who turned me on to Michael Kiwanuka. But
Thank
anyway.
you, John Meeks.
Yes.
So Paul turned me on to the third album, and I couldn't pronounce his last name for a very long time, and then I finally
It's
figured
still tough.
It's a little tough because it's spelled Kiwanuka sort of, but not really. Anyhow, it's this. He's got this interesting voice, and the third record. What year did that come out?
2019.
19. So it's a little electronic-y, blippity boopity boppity kind of deal, and catchy and fun. And so I went back and listened to the older stuff, and it's really good. Michael Kiwanuka. Don't sleep on him, because you probably don't know about him unless you listen. You know, like what music thing would have talked about him?
Well, he's a British artist.
Yeah.
And
so probably Mojo talked about him or something. Maybe made it in Rolling Stone. I don't know. No, you kids don't read magazines anymore. So just
Yeah.
Michael Kiwanuka. 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 And then coming in at number 1, I have Boys and Girls by Alabama Shakes.
you know,
I knew it.
well, no, that's not. I don't have any problem with them.
Yeah.
I'm not into them, but I don't have a problem.
You're getting some New York shrugs over here.
Alabama Shakes. You don't know anything about them?
New York Shrugs.
New York
You're getting
Shrugs.
some Long Island head nods.
Head nods. Well, they are should I say a roots sort of band?
Uh-oh. I'm starting to back
Well, they're a
away.
little bluesy. They're a little
Bluesy.
bluesy.
Oh, I'm disengaging.
The capsule has left the ship.
Officially disinterested.
But I think you'd like it, Tommy. It's good.
It's actually not bad. I don't think you might not be really heavily into it, but I don't think you would dislike it.
Yeah, I think you'd like it. And yeah, you should check it out. Some homework on your way home. Listen to it.
I'm still getting homework at this point in time.
God damn it, just listen to it. Alabama Shakes. They're good.
All right.
And that's my list.
That was number 1.
That's
All
all I
right.
talk about.
Oh,
That is it.
all right. Well, there you go. 4 album list from Crystal. It's
It's dire, I told you.
it's like
It is
Groundhog
dire.
Day around here, you know.
Yeah, and I will say that because, as I said before, and I've said it again, and I'm going to keep on saying it, during this long stretch, I don't remember what I was listening to, except for Purple Rain and Dark Side of the Moon and I Wish You Were Here. Quadrophenia and all that.
Yeah.
New music I really was not listening to because I didn't like it. No likey. Me no likey. I didn't like it. So I had to go through all the record lists.
It's a slog.
And like, oh, I have a glint of memory of this. Let me listen to it. So I put in work, as TLC used to sing.
Well.
And I came up with 4. That's the best I could do. And again, like that's listening to jazz, that's listening to reggae, that's everything. And this is what I came up with.
And still a whole lot of nothing. Whole lot of nothing
Whole
going
lot
on.
of nothing. Meow. Got a whole lot of
I
nothing.
got a full album list, baby,
Meow.
because a whole lot of nothing's
Got a
going
whole
on.
lot of nothing. Meow.
I got a whole lot of nothing.
Nothing. Oh my
God.
All right. I got a whole lot of ads.
Look, I don't play by my facial hair, but if I grow this out a little bit, look too much like an English country gent. Nah, a little this way, and I feel like I'm from outer space. This, and I feel like a Viking. Not my style, man.
Master your style. Even trimming, a close shave, and accurate edging with the new Gillette Fusion Pro Glide Styler.
Every inch of hair needs to be on point.
Well, we're back and it's my turn to do my list. Well, alright.
Well, alright. It's Paul's turn to do his list.
Do it!
Do it. Oh,
Yeah! Alright. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 honorable mentions
How
and
are
a
you
10 album
even
list.
doing this?
Yes.
What?
That is right, people. That is correct.
Buckle up, everyone. Here comes 45 minutes of Ballcore.
Yeah. How many albums did Sloan put out this year?
Here. God damn it.
I will tell you right now, Sloan put out 0 albums this year. Yeah. Urge Overkill put out 0 albums this year.
What?
Yeah. The Ocean Blue.
Nothing.
Put out 0 albums this year. So yeah.
So how did he do
How
it?
did he do it, people?
Tell us how you do. Okay, my honorable mentions.
Tell us how you do.
Honorable mentions, the Beach Boys with Something About God in the Radio, whatever the fuck this thing's called. I mean, it's okay. The thing about this record, this is the big reunion album where everybody who's still alive, like Brian's there, Al Jardine's there, everybody. It's not just like the Mike Love Show.
Boo, Mike
Not
Love
a great
Show.
record. There's some good stuff on here.
David
but I'll tell
Marks.
you what.
David Marks.
David Marks is in here.
No shit.
Yes, everybody they can get in here. Bruce Johnston. Yeah.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Johnston.
Now, a lot of this is, some of it's kind of okay, some of it's pretty good, some of it's embarrassing, but there is one track on here that's buried towards the end of the album called From There to Back Again. It's an Al Jardine track. Fucking great. It's by far the best song on this record, and it's worth the price of admission alone. It's like classic, great Beach Boys, just that one song. Some of the other ones is like, okay, we're 70 trying to do surf songs, but okay. But that's just an honorable mention anyway. Another honorable mention is wait a minute. All right, another honorable mention I have Lee Fields with Faithful Man. Yeah. I merely have him as an honorable mention this time.
Notice it's autographed.
Yeah, because I docked the album for autograph. Like, it's been written on, so it's not mint anymore. So I docked it on the list. Oh. No, this is a perfectly good Lee album. It's a little samey, and too many kind of slower songs and that kind of sound the same. But it's still Lee being Lee, so it's good. But yeah.
I love the autograph. To Paul, you good friend.
You good. Well, it's supposed to be a good friend.
I know.
But, his penmanship.
Little Frankenstein
leaves
monster.
to be desired.
You good friend.
But hey, man, who knew I was such a good friend of Lee Fields?
How about it?
Eitan Mirsky.
What?
Year of the Mouse.
Oh my god.
Year of the Mouse.
Holy shit. Eitan, look at you. You made it.
Eitan, you made the list. Yes, Eitan with Year of the Mouse.
Wow.
Singer-songwriter that we know who lives here. He's from Queens. He lives out there in Ramones Land in Forest Hills.
Forest Hills, yeah.
And he makes self-released records.
He's got a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful voice.
He has a pitch perfect.
Perfect.
His voice is so pitch perfect that sometimes I'll listen to stuff and be like, that shit is pitch corrected. It's not.
It's not.
His voice sounds pitch corrected naturally. That's how spot on he is.
And if he decided to do a Neil Diamond classic remake record, you would not be able to tell who was who.
Right. And he does, his shtick is that he's like the lovable loser.
Yeah.
That's his shtick. All of his songs are filled with humor, but they're all self-deprecating.
Yes.
They're all about, what a loser is and all that kind of stuff. But it's really great. He's a great lyricist. He's a great singer.
He needs
to learn a couple new chords. Eitan, you need to learn a couple of new chords.
Come
but
on.
Other than that,
Yeah.
Just fucking with you, Eitan. All right. Swing Out Sister with Private View.
Yes.
Rush with their swan song, Clockwork Angels. Now, later Rush I am not into. You get after... I think Grace Under Pressure, and I'm basically out. But you know what? This last one, I'm here for it. I like the last one. It's a little 90s, and we're in 2012 here.
Tommy's
But
wincing.
I like this last record.
You look like you just had a lemon in your mouth.
Tommy doesn't like this record. Yeah, well.
We agree on later period Rush.
Except for this album.
But this album.
I like this album.
Also, I don't.
Oh, well.
And Michael Kiwanuka, Home Again, I have merely as an honorable mention. Good record. I think he gets better as he goes along.
He does.
So on to my actual 10 album list.
How did you do it?
How do you do? Night Moves with Colored Emotions.
Oh, it's not Bob
Yeah,
Dylan.
Night Moves. They're a band. They're from Minneapolis. They're a band in Minneapolis. They play First Avenue all the time. And they put out these are, I guess for lack of a better term, they're an indie band. There are a lot of, coming up on this episode and on many episodes to come, there are a lot of indie bands that kind of have that, the dreamy kind of indie band vibe. Some synths, a lot of atmosphere, a lot of floatiness. Night Moves.
Okay.
Okay, my number 9. Oh, speaking of that, Fancy Colors with an album called Near Equator. Okay, now this band, they're local. They're here. They're in Brooklyn. or they're in New York City. Now, I have a little bit of a history here. I don't really have a history with the band so much. I kind of found them out of nowhere on the internet one day. Like, I came across a song and I kind of liked it and dug in and liked the record and liked the next record and decided I like this band. And then I realized it's this duo made up of Zach Caldwell on vocals and keys and a drummer named David Heilman. And I was like, David Heilman? And I looked at the picture. I know David Heilman. I did this gig like 10 years ago, and you may remember this.
Oh, shit.
I did this gig about 10 years ago at the Trocadero in Philly.
Yeah.
Where we did all these 80s covers backing up like this circus thing. I don't know what it was. I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
But it's this event called Junk that happens regularly at the Troc. And so we did this one-off gig, and it was like, Robbie Seahag on guitar,
yes,
and a bunch of people we know. And I was singing, and I'm singing like Wham songs and all kinds of 80s shit. I was singing shit that you would be like,
creaming.
They got Paul to sing this?
What?
Yeah, I went and I sang all these songs. David Heilman was the drummer for that, and he's the drummer in this band. And I discovered this band and decided I liked them before I realized,
I know that
this
dude.
guy that I know is one of the guys in this band. And
that's cool.
I went and saw them, at a small place here in Brooklyn, and it's like I described the last band. It's like this dreamy, modern, indie kind of stuff, but the songwriting is really good. The musicianship of the front guy, like he plays keys and he sings and he writes the songs, but he also comes in and brings in a flute, and he'll do that trick where he has like a looper, where he'll do you know what I mean? He'll come in with a flute and he'll loop something and he'll kind of build a soundscape. Really, really good stuff. Anyway, my number 8. Yet another album that falls into the same category. Wild Nothing, with an album called Nocturne. Very 80s. It's very 80s, but the dreamy, floaty 80s.
Like Echo and the Bunnymen-ish 80s?
No.
Like Echo and the Bunnymen-ish 80s?
That's not really floaty, though.
He's not a floaty. He doesn't float, this guy.
Echo and the Bunnymen is totally
They're
floaty.
not that floaty.
Sure
Do you
they
like
are.
Echo and the
I do like Echo the Bunnymen.
Come on, are you kidding me? We'll argue about this later. Sorry.
Yeah, anyway, we'll argue about Floaty and Echo and the Bunnymen later.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wild Nothing is a band that I've kind of gotten into in recent times, and I really, really like this record. If you like the floaty synth, lots of reverb, 80s-ish kind of shit.
See, when you talk about that sound, I think of something like Dream Academy.
Life in a Northern Town?
That's floaty.
Kind of, but it's not... It doesn't sound... I mean, I guess that is also kind of... You could describe it the same way, but it doesn't sound like that. I can't come up with just the right bands. It sounds like existing 80s vibes that I can't quite name check.
Can't really get the...
I can't quite name check.
Okay.
But anyway, so my number 7, we're going to get out of the little dream pop realm, because we have the return of Red Cross!
There's Paul Core!
Yes!
And they're back!
Yes, and they are back. 2012, Red Cross finally comes back with a new album. Their last album had been in 1997.
Damn.
So they didn't make a record for all those years. They didn't do shit for a while. I mean, Jeff, shaved his head and, raised a kid. And...
As you do when you find out you're gonna have a baby, you shave your head.
raise it.
Just he just chopped his hair off and just basically tended to his child for a while. And Steve formed a little side band called, I guess it was supposed to be kind of his band for a while. They were called the Stephen McDonald Group. Short-lived, but it took them forever to come back. I mean, they started doing shows again, but even when they started doing shows again in I want to say 2003. It took them from 2003, I think, to 2012 to do an album. And and this is it. And I haven't said the name of the album, Researching the Blues, but I showed it, and it you saw it below. So I was so happy to have Red Cross back. Playing shows, they came back and played, and they were as good as they ever were. And the thing about Red Cross is that they always, Red Cross is Red Cross. They give you what you want. They never made it big, so they never got taken astray by the things that took Lady Gaga astray.
Right.
So they the muse is still there. They still have their eyes on the prize. They know how to be Red Cross. They didn't lose the ability to be Red Cross. Thankfully.
That's awesome.
And in fact, two of my all-time favorite Red Cross songs are on this album, "Uglier" and "Meet Frankenstein." So there you go. I mean, if you can come up with a new album, a reunion album, and have two of the best songs you ever had, there you go. You're on the right track there. Okay, so number 6. Where do I have it? Do I have it back here? I do. Tame Impala with "Lonerism." Yeah. This is their second album, I believe, right? I think it's the second album. Yeah, this is also... I could kind of describe this the way I did the earlier albums, where it's dreamy and a lot of synths and stuff, but it's a little bit more modern, a little bit more Beatle-y, too. Like, the singer has a John Lennon-y kind of voice, and... Yeah, this owes a lot more to the 60s than the earlier stuff I mentioned that has more 80s sounds. And of course, they became a gigantic thing on the album prior to this, so like everybody knows. I don't need to describe Tame Impala. You know who they are. Tommy's like, I don't know the fuck this. Do you actually know about them?
A friend of mine tried to turn me on to them at one point and played me some songs, and I hated everything I heard.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Really?
Yeah.
So number 5. Now, nobody should hate this. Nobody. Because at number 5 I have Lanny Flowers.
Yay, Lanny.
Yes, with "New Songs, Old Stories." Yeah. Now, I talked about Lanny Flowers on a previous episode. He's a guy that we know who lives down in Texas, and he does really great straight-ahead pop rock, guitar pop rock stuff. And I mentioned that he's kind of in the Tom Petty vein. Now, he doesn't sound like Tom Petty. He just does that thing that Tom Petty does, or used to do, where he writes these simple, direct songs that most people couldn't pull off, that somehow managed to just like touch that nerve. Like he can do that thing that Tom Petty used to be able to do. You know, he's very kind of in that The Waiting kind of era of Tom Petty.
Okay.
And but he has a really great voice, and he's just so good. And this is probably his best album. The opening track on this is a song called "Another Weekend," that is one of those songs that was just like, this had to have been a hit in some other dimension. It's just it isn't just a good song. It's just like, wait, this wasn't a big single?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't, but it damn well should have been. All right.
It's righteous.
Number 4. Number 4. Stereo Venus with "Close to the Sun." Stereo Venus is a male-female duo consisting of Rumor, whom I've talked about before.
Oh, yeah.
I've talked about Rumor before. She kind of has the Karen Carpenter-ish voice. And with a guy named Rory Moore. And they recorded this in 2008, prior to Rumor's first album, actually. And it didn't actually get a proper release until 2012. But it's like space-age bachelor pad music and bossa nova-y and very 60s. Basically, it sounds like Karen Carpenter singing for Stereolab. So basically, if you like the Carpenters, if you love Karen Carpenter, her voice, if you like Stereolab, those two things, run. Do not walk to this record. I'm telling you right now.
Well, hold on. So what is this? If you like Karen Carpenter's voice, what is that?
Well,
What is?
if you don't like Karen Carpenter's voice, you're wrong.
Yeah, you don't know music.
But we have to,
I get it.
But, you know, who knows? All right. So, number 3, coming in at number 3, Bruno Mars with "Unorthodox Jukebox." Yes, my comment earlier was just because I don't like his first album, and I don't like the follow-up album to this. He's turning out to be an every other album artist for me, but the reason for that is because, and this is actually to his credit, because he does something different every single time.
He does.
And that's one of the list of reasons why he's great. That means, and I've said this about Neil Young on a distant past episode, that sometimes means I can't follow him where he goes, but that also means that you might be right with him on the next album. And that has happened. He's been spot on. Next album, oh no, fuck that shit. Next album after that, oh yeah, fuck yeah. So that's, he does different things. He does a different thing every time. And this album is one of those just like slam dunk hits. I mean, the second song is basically a straight up early 80s, late 70s, early 80s Police song.
Yeah.
And that is actually what got me on him. Because when his first album came out, and he had that awful Lazy song that I fucking hate, I was like, oh, okay, I hate Bruno Mars. But this record came out, and I heard that song, and I was like, oh shit, this is something else entirely, and he's tapping into not only something that's way different, but something that I really like. And so I started listening.
To you.
And then Treasure came out.
Dude, Treasure.
I was like, oh shit, are you kidding me? I'm like, okay, well, so what we have here is the new Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Basically.
That was the song that turned me on.
Yeah.
Yes, when I heard Treasure and then I saw him do it on like some award show.
On like one of the 50 award shows he was on.
And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah. That's a stone classic,
Yes.
that. But the whole record's good. You know what? That album kind of trails off in the last 4 tracks, but the first 6 or so, bam, 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 you know, yeah.
Good stuff.
I have this album above Red Cross on my list. Next. Okay. My number 2. The Over and Out final album of Kiss, Monster. The last 2 Kiss albums, the last 2 makeup albums they did with the new guys, Sonic Boom, I almost said Sonic Youth, Sonic Boom, and Monster, very divisive. These albums divide, but they don't conquer. A lot of people really hate them. A lot of people love them. I think this is a great Kiss album. I don't think they're really capable of doing, at this point, a better album than this. This is as good of an album as they could possibly have gone out on. You know, Paul Stanley, his voice left the building long ago. They managed to make it listenable on the record. Some really good songs, some really terrible songs, but overall, I mean, I was questioning myself. I thought, you know, is this shouldn't be this high, because when I kind of made the list and didn't actually have them ranked yet, I kind of had it up near the top, and I went, that's going to be near the bottom. And I listened to it again last night. I was like, no, you know what? Fuck that shit. This is number 2. Kiss Monster.
Good. Monster.
All right, but my number 1. Oh boy, prepare for a scowl from Tommy. A full scowl. Van Halen with A Different Kind of Truth.
What?
Yes.
Are you serious?
This album sucks.
To quote Tommy, yes.
This album is not.
Yes.
No, it is not. Oh,
I'm
go ahead.
really
This
shocked.
is a good fucking album.
It is not a good album.
I
That
love
is
this record.
weak sauce.
And I think I love this record.
Put 'em
Is it
together
as
as
good
one
as the
word.
original 6? Of course not. But I mean, I think it's really great. I think there are all kinds of great songs on here. Dave doesn't sound as good, but he doesn't sound as bad as people will lead you to believe. This is definitely one of those albums that was hated before it was heard.
Yeah.
And the opening track fucking sucks. Talk about, they put their weakest foot forward. The opening track on this, yeah, if you go to listen to this album and you listen to the opening track, you're gonna be like, come on, people. But after that, and there are maybe 3 or 4 songs after that I don't like. This has got, what, like 16 something fucking tracks on it. There is a stellar 10 song album in here. I mean, Big River, Rollin', dun, 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 so many songs. What else is on here?
That is a problem.
She's the Woman is great. Chinatown, Bullet Head. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh man, Out of Space, Big River. Yeah, there's some great stuff on here. There are tracks on here.
No.
That if you didn't know it was a new Van Halen track, there are a couple tracks on here. It's like, come on, you could tell somebody that it was a fair warning outtake.
Bullshit, you could.
I absolutely.
You're out of your fucking mind. Now, hold on. I'm cutting in here.
River?
You're out of your fucking mind.
Big River.
Stop it. Stop it.
River,
There are so many reasons why this album is weak. First of all, okay, the elephant in the room absolutely is David Lee Roth. Okay?
Well, David Lee Roth isn't
He
what he
does not sound good. He sounds like he's being propped up desperately by any means necessary. It drags the whole album down. I don't like the production. I don't like the mix. It's too fucking dry. A lot of the material sounds like outtakes, which a lot of it is.
Well, most of it is outtakes. Kind of like a lot of the material on their classic albums.
I went into this album actually all for it. I could not wait to hear it. Got it. Listened to it. At the end of it, I was like, well, that was a bit of a wet fart. Next.
Wet fart.
Well, we disagree. I think it's really good. It's not even half as good as the first 6, but I think it's a fucking good album. And I like it even more than Kiss Monster.
Fuck, man. OU812 is better than that.
Oh, God. It wipes its ass with OU812.
Out of your mind. He's out of his mind. You heard it first. Here on As It Should Be. He's out of his mind.
Well, I was going to ask you don't answer this question. I was going to ask you where you would rank it up against Van Halen 3, but don't even give even the slightest indication, because one day we're going to rank the Van Halen albums.
This is true.
And we're not going to do just the Dave.
This is true. We're doing all the Van Halen albums.
Yes. Which is still
I can't
10
wait.
albums.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be a great episode.
So stay tuned for the answer to that question. All right. You heard it here first. When I got that the day it came out, I put it on and I thought, okay, when I pulled up a picture of Van Halen in 1981, I said, I'm going to listen to this and I'm going to look at this picture, and if I am not going, oh, it's not those guys, am I going to listen to this and think, oh yeah, it's those guys? And I felt like, yeah, it sounds like those guys to me. It doesn't sound like, short-haired Dave with his Bojangles outfit, and it actually sounds like Van Halen to me.
Oi.
All right, so we're back.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so Tommy.
Oh.
I guess we won't be discussing the Van Halen album again just yet, because you're doing the albums that you like from 2012, right?
I already went, man.
Yeah, this is hate now.
You're delusional.
Okay,
You're
well,
delirious.
how about if we do an edit? All right, we're back.
Yeah!
And this time it's personal.
Yeah. So what are we doing?
Giving you
We're about to hate.
Oh, we hate it?
We're hating.
Oh, well, that's great.
Do you wish? Do you?
That's great. That's great.
Doth thou wish me to hate, sir?
I think you're probably the first on the hate list, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, tell us more about
I
the Van
have
Halen album.
one singular shit album.
But you've already talked about it.
No, I wasn't going to put A Different Kind of Truth on as my worst of the year, or even a dishonorable mention, because I feel like in general they made the best of what they could with the situation being what it was. They made the best with what they had to work with Dave's voice. Wolfgang basically pulled that record together by just sheer force of will. Yeah, it's the only reason it existed. I mean, Alex and Eddie would have never gotten their shit together to make that album. So I understand why that album hits me the way it does. I'm not mad about it. Not gonna shit all over it. However, I did come up with something that needs to be shat upon by everyone.
Okay.
I could not believe this existed. It is an album called Yoko Kim Thurston by Yoko Ono, Kim Gordon, and Thurston Moore.
Yeah. That's really
They got together, they went into Sear Sound Studios here in New York, spent a bunch of money, and put out an experimental album as a collaboration.
You guys, the song doesn't go, I want the worst of both worlds. That's you guys got the song wrong.
Yeah, you fucked up. I didn't think that there could be a worse possible supergroup until I discovered this.
Okay, well, let's have a little album ranking time. This versus Lulu.
This.
Oh, yeah, you know what? On paper, I would give it to that. I've never heard this. On paper, I would give it to that.
This is a nightmare come true.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Well, I guess it makes sense, too. I mean, because at least Metallica has a history of being good. There is some Lou Reed stuff that I really love. There's a lot of Lou Reed stuff I don't love.
But this...
I can't... Sonic Youth?
I cannot.
No, Sonic Youth
I've
is a
made my
no.
feelings on Sonic
no
Youth
boy.
very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they collaborate with somebody that brings the proceedings down even further.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So... Yeah. So that's my worst of the year. So
You know, without having ever even heard it...
yeah.
Cosign.
So top that.
Well, hell's bells. Hell's bells. Okay, so I have, oh boy. Well, first of all, there were way too many things that I could have put on this list.
Oh yeah.
25, 30 things.
I mean, easily,
That's the name of the
easily.
game in the
Yeah.
era we're in.
Yeah, just terrible. So I just have a handful. I have Mumford and Sons,
Oh,
yeah. How did we miss that?
That gets two hands.
Jug Band.
Fuck
Realness.
that.
I can't with that. They're from Ireland or something?
Yeah. Somebody recently described that whole period in time as when suddenly Stomp Clap Hey
Thank
was really
you.
popular.
Yes.
And
Yes.
everyone looked like some 1800s barber.
Yes.
And everybody was whistling.
Everyone
Yes.
was whistling, penny whistles, clapping, washboards. I was doing a coat check at the Mercury Lounge at the time for like 6 months. And boy, howdy, what a nightmare. Because everybody, oh, look, it's the modern version of the Buffalo Springfield. Oh, look, it's a guy with arm garters on his white shirt with a fucking, what are
And
you
you got
doing?
22-year-old, 23-year-old, 23-year-olds in bands with their fucking mustaches
Lashes all twirled up in long-ass
curls.
beards.
I'm like, fuck this
Horrible.
entire era.
Horrible
It was
part of music.
horrible.
I'm so glad that has passed.
Jesus, that could not have ended soon enough.
Every night was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the only night that it was good was when it was like it was St. Patrick's and all these Irish bands came through from Ireland and they were actually really good, but I digress. So then I've got talk about collaboration.
Get up the energy, man.
I
Here's the
got-
good shit. Give it
I
to
got
us.
David Byrne and St. Vincent with Love This Giant.
Oh, I forgot that they did some work together.
Yeah. I understand why it happened because they're both two kookaboos. But it should not have happened because it's not good. It's not good. St. Vincent, yes, I support women. Yes, she's a guitar player. Yes, I'm okay with, all right. But it's just, I don't, does anybody understand her?
I
Do you
kind
get
of,
it?
I've heard a couple of things by her that were really, really damn good. So she's clearly very, very talented. But I feel like she might have bought her own hype pretty hard.
I think so too. And then also, she will do unconventional things like have dancers on stage with her, and then she'll also dance while she's playing. So she'll have a guitar strapped around her, she'll start the beginning of the song, and then these dancers appear out of nowhere, and they start doing, you know, Martha Graham, Martha Graham, Martha Graham, and then she's doing the same shit with one arm.
I don't
It's
know.
unnecessary to me. Why are you doing that?
I don't know, she's weird.
And David Byrne, he's a mental patient,
He's
which I've
David
talked
Byrne.
about.
Yeah.
He's David Byrne. And, yeah, it's not. Then I believe the worst of it all is this band that literally frightens me. And I'm not kidding. I almost have to look at their videos like this between my fingers because they're so gross and hideous and weird and disgusting, and it's all on purpose that they do this. It's their bag, man. But the music makes it even more frightening and chill inducing, and you just want to vomit. And that band is Die Antwoord.
Oh.
Okay, and I say band loosely.
Oh.
It's a guy and a girl. I guess they're a couple.
I hate this group.
And they're as white as a light bulb. She's got this bleached blonde hair with these crazy short bangs. They got grills and weird teeth.
And they're from South Africa.
Yeah, which makes it even
Which is a problem in
a
and of
big
itself.
problem. You know, one of the videos they had a chorale.
But do they play Sun City?
I
That's
don't
the
know.
question.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
But they just trust me. If you don't know anything about this band, I dare you. I'm laying down the gauntlet. I dare you to Google them, look them up on YouTube, and try to get through 3 of their videos. Just try it.
I think one. Try to get through one.
You won't be able to do it.
I
And it's just,
despise them.
it's so terrible. It's so terrible. On top of being gross and off-putting and making you want to Yeah, it's just all around bad, and I don't know who's giving them money to continue to this day. They're still making records and touring, if you will. But
yeah, nobody talks about them anymore.
Nobody talks
their
about
15
them.
minutes are up.
Yeah, they've
sure.
been way up. But yeah, they make me want to vomit. Literally, like the last video I saw theirs, I literally was gagging, and it's a lot of short jump cuts. You know, it's like, she's eating roadkill, then he's playing guitar, and then a bomb goes off, and then he's fucking a corpse, and it's just the weirdest shit ever.
That sounds like a whole lot of trying too hard to me.
It is a whole lot of trying too hard.
Apparently, they're also not very good people.
They're horrible people.
There was some allegations of child abuse.
Yes,
and some kind of shit,
they're just disgusting.
So they're really
something. There was
like,
I don't know if that's what was the specific thing. There was something that came out that
they
was
are
like,
full
oh god,
service horrible, full service horrible. And I'm wondering, it seems to me, obviously their inspirations were Alice Cooper and Kiss and, people who came before them and did things, but then they're just taking it to... Remember how shocked everybody was with Marilyn Manson? With his suit with no genitalia and the makeup and all that. And it's like, ew, it's so creepy and weird. Turn it up to 11. That is Die Antwoord. Ugh.
Well,
Bah.
either way, I co-sign.
Yeah, horrible.
Oh yes, you absolutely co-sign.
Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah.
I'm aware of these guys. Yeah. All right. Well, my list is not a list because I have only one.
Oh.
I mean, I should have that. So that you guys both mentioned things that I should have, but I really just have one. And that is Imagine Dragons with Night Visions.
Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, anything but... Okay, so now...
I hate that name.
Just the name is so annoying. Apparently, the main dude, Dan Reynolds, is an extremely good guy. He's a philanthropist. He's a big supporter of the gay community.
Yes.
By all accounts, he's a stand-up guy. But his band sucks ass. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, you're right. I saw a documentary on him, specifically, and the band. And yeah, like raising money for crippled people and just all the good things. Ding, 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 ding. And then he also suffers from crippling anxiety. And I think at one point he wanted to kill himself and all this other stuff. Interviewed his family, his girlfriend, wife, whatever. It was very fascinating and interesting. But it doesn't make the music any better.
But then there's the music.
Yeah. I wanted to like it because he's a nice guy.
Yeah, have a drink with the guy. Don't listen to his record.
I thought of a funny Imagine Dragons related anecdote. I was at the Brooklyn Pedal Expo. I think it was last year. I think
Brooklyn Pedal Expo.
Yeah, so each year, or maybe every other year, they'll do an expo in Brooklyn, and I think they switch coasts back and forth, or they do one in California, one here, and it's like they'll have a whole bunch of manufacturers for guitar pedals. And in the same room, they'll also have like synths. So it's like the Brooklyn Guitar Pedal and Synth Expo. And I went specifically to talk to the people at Eventide because they have this H90, which is multi-effects pedal. And I had one the weekend it came out, and I was like, oh, there's delays when you switch your presets. And So I'm talking to the guy, the rep. And I was like, yeah, I tried one the weekend it came out. I had to send it back because it didn't switch presets fast enough and everything. I'm just wondering, did you guys ever sort that out? And he goes to me, he's like, and he meant well. I'm not trying to drag the guy, but he's like, well, I don't know. He's like, I mean, the guys from Imagine Dragons have a couple of these, and they're using them out on tour. And I took everything I could do to not say, I don't give a fuck what Imagine Dragons is using on fucking tour.
Even if you were about to sell this, you just unsold.
You just dropped exactly the wrong fucking...
Oh, man.
Tell me, I don't know, Imagine Dragons isn't using these on tour, and I would have probably bought one right now and said, you got all the bugs worked out, sir. I don't know. It was really funny. Again, I'm not trying to drag the guy, he's just saying
good.
a major artist, he's touring with it, but it was just so funny that's the band he name-checked to me, and I'm like, no.
Shot,
sir, you fucked up. But anyway.
All right. Unsold. Speaking of sold, we're gonna try to sell you some stuff.
Commercials.
It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes.
Enough! No Pepsi for you. And what do you do?
I sing. All I'm asking is
All right. Pepsi for you.
No. Pepsi for all.
Yeah, boy!
Well, all right.
Oh yeah, we're back.
Time for us to get out of here. Get out of 2012. 2012.
2112.
We're gonna shelve. All right.
All right.
Wait, before we go, how about finish photo time?
All right, so here we have Crystal in 2012, and she says, this is the result of yet another Jesse Krakow fever dream show. Here I am with Betty, Dot, and Helen on the day after Better Than the Beatles, a tribute to the Shags, an epic show that many of the best musicians in New York City performed at the Bell House. The story of how it came about is long and kooky. I think I've talked about it here before. It's truly one of the craziest shows I've ever done. We performed their album in front of them, and there was a Q&A afterwards. I sang Painful Memories. Betty thanked me afterwards and said she loved the performance. Did BBs on My Companion and played the rhythm guitar on Wheels. Now, if you're familiar with the Shags, you realize that everyone had to stop playing correctly and basically unlearn their decades of skills, which is no small feat, but we did it note for note perfect. Big ups to Brittany Anjou for transposing all of the music. Rehearsals and the entire show are on YouTube. Look up an account called Elemental Films and you'll see Better Than the Beatles, a tribute to the Shags. He also filmed the None More 11 tribute to This Is Spinal Tap I talked about in the 2011 episode. And here I am in 2012 with the Shags. Yeah, this is the same day as the photos of Crystal with the Shags. Now, this was the morning after the show that Crystal talked about at Jesse Krakow's apartment, the guy who put on the show. Yeah, he had a little brunch at his place, and the Shags were there, and a lot of the people in the show were there, and, well, we all hung out. And for you real geeks, yes, that is our Stevie Moore in the back. And here's Tommy in 2012. He says, this is the skinniest I ever got. 162 pounds at 5 foot 11 inches tall. I was eating only 1,200 calories a day and doing an hour of cardio 7 days a week. It still didn't make me a rock star. All right, well, there you go. That is Crystal and me and Tommy in 2012. Okay, there you go. That was us in 2012. Woo! And probably not terribly different from us in 2024. Yeah, we're getting at that point where it's like,
not.
I'm going to stop. At some point, I'm going to stop because at some point, it's just going to be just pictures of us.
We kind of just, we've settled into our current forms at this point, I think, right?
But anyway, so thank you everybody for watching these videos and for going all the way through 2012 with us. Thank you for subscribing if you have. If you haven't, subscribe. And if you do subscribe, click the little bell.
Ring the bell.
And come back next week, though. This is very important. I'm going to level with you here. You need to come back next week. Because we're going to be discussing our favorite albums of 2013.
Oh, that's fucked up. That's
if you don't
right.
come and watch our 2013 video, Ooh. 7 years bad luck.
Oh.
I don't know if I would have told him what year we were doing.
Well, you know, I guess I'm all about the full disclosure.
It's fair. Fair is fair.
Okay.
Parts
all right.
Parts.
All right.
Okay.
Do we do it? All right. See you then. Bye.
Finish photo time!
See, I would have forgotten.
I got you.
You saved it.
I'm so good. I'm just the goodest.
Photo time.
Finish photo time. Saved by Tommy Bob Boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Guys, give him praise. He likes praise.
Okay, there you go. That was us in 2012.
It's good stuff.
All right.
I got cool things.
Okay.
Here we go.
Ready to 12? Ready to 12?
Nope.
To 12.
We're gonna be 12ing.
20
Let's do it.
seconds to 12.
Let's get our 12 on.
We're gonna get all 12y with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
La 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 la.
La 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 la.
Get 12 with it. Na 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 na. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Well, all right.